welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Mwale and I'm very happy that you are able to join us. I have a very wonderful guest today. Her name is Milana and she is a WordPress engineer, and I'm very excited to be speaking with her today, and we're just going to learn so much about, for example, what you can get involved with in WordPress, and also what are some opportunities to work remotely. Especially if you're someone who likes to travel, there are many opportunities to contribute to WordPress and work on amazing projects, and we're going to hear more about that. So if you pay close attention, who knows, several months from now we can be doing also very similar things. So with that said, let me bring on Milana. She's going to tell us a little bit about herself. Milana, please.
Hi, thank you for having me. So a little bit about myself. So first of all, I'm a single mom. That's something the WordPress community knows. I'm very proud of being a single mom, making it in Serbia. So that is kind of different than being a single mom elsewhere. Practically the same for the whole Balkan and Southeast Europe. So we don't get any help from government. You know, alimony doesn't have to be paid, so it's not paid. So you're on your own, really. And I'm very happy, that I'm making it for past 14 years and really enjoying it and not being forced to remarry, for financial reasons. Then after that, I could say that I'm classical musician. That's my first love. There are two things I wanted, two wishes I had when I was a kid. That was to be a musician and to learn everything that is possible to be learned. So the other one is not really going well. But the first one I did. So I'm fully educated classical musician. I was opera prompter for 10 years in Serbian National Theater. So the first Serbian theater. And now I am WordPress engineer.
Wow.
And I live in north of Serbia, the most beautiful city in the world, in Novi Sad.
Wow. I think you have the most fun with the music and WordPress. Okay. So now, in your opinion, what's the best or the easiest way to get into remote work? Because as someone who works remotely, what do you think?
Well, for me, when you work remotely, and not just remotely, when you're a freelancer, you're on your own, it's very difficult to find clients. And I was freelancer for a very long time. I'm not very good at selling myself, making you buy. I'm not good at that. I have a mindset: if you need something from me, I will give it to you, and you will ask for it. I will not harass you. So I don't know that thing, and that is very important thing if you want to have clients. So for me, it started with musicians, because I was a musician when I started, and they were kind of, how to make websites. Well, I need a website, and it started like that, but it wasn't sustainable. It wasn't enough, It was very random, and then I got to a TopTal, which is a platform that connects clients and freelancers, something like Upwork, but not really.
Okay.
Very different structure inside.
It's similar to Fiverr, maybe? No?
I don't know how they work, but basically, you go through the screening process, which is about a month and a half, 2 months, something like that. Yeah, it is serious. And when you get there, you sign everything that, all the legal stuff you sign with TopTal, and you never think about that again. So basically, they are renting you to clients, and there are projects you can apply for them, or you get offered to work on them. You can reject or not, it depends all on you. You can work as many hours as you want if that fits the client. So I was working 4 hours a day. I love part-time work. That's just amazing. And you get paid every 2 weeks at the same time. You don't think about those things. So to me, those kind of platforms, I know there are others, I was only in TopTal, and I'm very satisfied with how they do, all the nightmare work like paperwork, NDNs, and whatever, chasing people to pay you. You don't have to do any of that. You just show up and do what you like. And I think, today when we have so many platforms and also so many people who are working on that, it can be difficult to start, and so just find those platforms, see what they offer, find what fits you the best, goals for yourself, and try to go there. And it will be much, much easier than doing it for yourself. And today, really in 2022, doing anything by yourself is ridiculous. You don't
Very
have to do it. There is service for everything, literally for everything. So you can work only what you want to work and what you like, and just delegate to others. It's not worth the money or the stress that you do everything by yourself.
No, like I have to say, I 100% agree, because as someone who's done freelancing before, chasing down payments is not fun.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so okay. And how long have you been working remotely?
Well, I first started in 2010, and I was freelancer until January 2022. So that's 11 years, fully 11 years.
It's a long time.
Yeah, freelancing. And now I'm in XWP, which is a nice change, from freelancing, but it is still remote. It's a fully remote company, and I love it. It's just, I did work in a company here in Novi Sad for 2 years, and I was actually going to office. And Novi Sad is small, and it was like 15 minutes to my office, by bike or whatever. But I just felt like that was wasting my time because when you are there, you have to, you can only do what you are supposed to do there. When I'm home, I can split hours, I can do, other things. And I'm kind of person that wants to do that, to split and to have different activities during the day. So remote work is really what fits me. It's not for everyone, really.
Exactly. No, I 100% agree, because now what I'm wondering is, you've mentioned the advantages. What are some of the disadvantages? Because like you said, it's not for everyone. So what are some of the disadvantages?
It's not for everyone. Well, first, you really have to be disciplined to do that. There is no one, to
wake you up.
And people don't have to really tell you have to work, but when there are colleagues, you kind of feel responsibility to start working at some point. And there are people who need that. There are people who need to go out of their homes and spend significant time with other people and colleagues. I would say that's kind of, disadvantage from remote work, that you don't really get that human contact with others. But, we are all adults. We can go out and spend time with friends and colleagues when possible. I kind of appreciate more my freedom to have my own schedule, and I really do have a schedule, and I really stick to it. There is no like, today I don't know how it's going to look. I know every day how it's going to look. I'm dependent on my schedule and my structure, but I love the opportunity when it gets boring, I can change it. So, I do organize my own time. It's not spontaneous, it's very organized, but I love the freedom to do it, to actually, move things around and have the life I want to live, the day I want to. The summer day is not the same as winter day. In the summer, I want to have my, morning for myself, not to sit and work. I want to go out and do stuff. In winter, I don't really like to go out. So, it's just, the freedom to give yourself the what you really want to do. And that is something that is missing from going to office. But again, people, there are people who really love to go to office, every day. from this to that time and do their work and feel accomplishment and then go home, and that's perfectly okay, depending on preferences.
Yeah, because like as you mentioned, some people, for example, they know themselves. Like, I'm not very self-disciplined, for example. So if you know that you're not going to manage to kind of be your own boss at home, say, oh, I need to get this done. And as you mentioned, it may not be the best. And you also,
it could be opportunity for you to, learn how to manage yourself. I mean, that's the most difficult thing, to be disciplined about yourself. Like, doing exercises and having schedule and not eating too much. And, all those things are very difficult to self-discipline is something that you learn all life.
Well said. Then would you say there are many opportunities to work from home in WordPress specifically?
Yeah, I mean, with WordPress, you can do anything, starting from development, where I am now with Gutenberg. You can be a React developer, you can be a Gutenberg developer, you can be PHP developer, front end, and everything together. You can be sys administrator. Then you can go to writing content. Then you can have a bit more creative things like reviewing plugins and themes, or finding bugs in other people's website and fixing them. And you can be specialized content writer. You can also just offer managing someone's WordPress. Then you can teach about WordPress. So you can do that, by writing blog, writing documentation, writing tutorials, recording videos, having one-on-one sessions. I mean, there is so many, there are so many options that you can do if you know WordPress. And nobody really knows the whole WordPress. Like, I can build you a website, not any website. I can build you a lot of types of websites, but if you ask me to write the content for you, oh my god, it will never happen.
Feelings. I love the overview that you've given. So guys, it's not just development that you can do. There's so much that can be done: content, translation, the list is endless. So
organizing events.
Organizing events, exactly.
So many things.
Yeah. So now, some of my viewers, many people actually, they just don't know what WordPress is. So how would you explain it to a 5-year-old?
To a 5-year-old? Well, imagine kindergarten, and you're going to this kindergarten and meeting other kids, and you have a project to build a house. And in this project, everybody has to recreate, for example, their own room they have at home. So here in this house, you have all different rooms, and you learn from each other what can be in kids' room, and you learn each other's stories and share experience. And you go home and you tell your brother and your sister, oh, there is a room that have this and that, and you expand all that. Now, WordPress is software, but also it is a project where you have people working together, bringing their own experiences and knowledge, and taking other people's experiences and stories and taking them home to their own local communities and expanding views, and really having a really nice Frankenstein house with a lot of bedrooms.
Wow, no, I've never thought about it that way. That is a first. Props to you for that one. So basically, as Milana said, the software connects people, so it's a really wonderful thing. And how did you personally get to know about WordPress?
Well, I started first with PHP and with forum script. I was actually an admin of torrent website, and as an admin, I was supposed to fix things and change things here and there. And I was doing that directly on my website, just reading code. And I was like, oh, okay, I understand something here. And then I found words that are on a website. I found them in code, and I said, oh, so this is here and this is that. And I would change something and it would show on the front end, and I was like, oh my God, I'm doing this. This is magic. And after that, doing dangerous things in production for a year and a half, I was supposed to, well, not build, just install a blog for a friend on a server. And I was testing different blog scripts, and it was 2009. Those weren't working, it was just all mess. And I asked a friend, well, do you know one blog script that is working? And he said, well, you can try WordPress. And that's when I tried WordPress, and it was working. The whole page loaded. I remember there was one.
Oh wait, all the other ones weren't loading.
Yeah. I remember one script that I tried before that, and it was like having a fatal error right before the footer. So I was like, what is this? This is not even loading. So WordPress was loading in 2009 completely.
Good start.
And yeah, and I started Googling about it and reading, and at that time there was like, Envato had, I think they still have this network of blogs where they were releasing all those tutorials and everything, and that's where I started learning about it and reading, and this is interesting. I will try it in my local now. And I tried it, and then I tried that one, and it was like, for me it was like playing games. I'm not a gamer. I never understood
the gaming chair.
Yeah, but I know they have comfy chairs, but I never understood the need to play game. I always felt it was like wasting my life. But this, I think I understood what is there about. So I was just doing this for myself. It wasn't really, doing anything at that time for me. I mean, it helped me now. When I look back, I wouldn't be doing this. But at that time, I never even thought about being a developer or, going there. This was just interesting thing I would do, just one thing at a time and building it. So that's my WordPress story.
Wow. No, I love it. So now, if someone, this is not a bunch of years later, if someone wanted to get started with WordPress today, how long do you think it would take them to kind of get comfortable, and just if they put in a lot of effort, how long, if it's a guess, obviously?
Depending on what, what do they want to do? Development?
Probably work in WordPress, maybe documentation or development, anything. Yeah.
Well, development is a little bit difficult now, depending on what you want to do, because now we have this Gutenberg, which is mix of React and PHP in one CMS, and that's and we don't have a really good documentation for this. So we are working on it. We are trying to make a good documentation. So when you just start and you go from getting started, you will end up with something done. We don't have that yet. And that is frustrating. It is. Today, it's a bit difficult to start with development, especially that part. But, development of taking the PHP side, we have a good documentation there. So, you can start building themes without building blocks. So just use what is there. And there is theme JSON file, which is pretty straightforward. I'm not gonna say it's simple. It can be very complicated, but it's straightforward, and you can find a lot of info about it. Starting with team development can be probably the easiest way for development. I don't know. You have to show up every day. It depends on how interesting it is for you. So I remember my first attempts, and when I would come to a problem I couldn't solve, I started hating myself, feeling sick, couldn't sleep for days, and especially if it was for a client when I was just starting out. So someone is paying you and you don't know how to do that. You just can't make it work. And I started thinking, why would I even start doing this? I'm a musician, I will never know how to do this. And you hate yourself. But after 3 days, you don't give up. You can't give up. You cannot sleep, you cannot eat, you just try this and that, and after 3 days you make it, and then you say, I am the best developer in the world. And this kind of burning your brain, if you like that, you will do good. If you don't like that, don't go to development, because
pulling out your hair.
If it doesn't matter which language you choose, if you don't like having problems you don't know how to fix and hating yourself along the way, don't go there. Try something else. Try building website from the front end. You can build templates, and now we have patterns, and you can do all that. And there is documentation about that as well. So you can have clients and just build the website without any complicated custom functionality, so you don't have to code. You can just implement what is already there. That's perfectly fine. There are clients who need all that. Just playing with it. I don't know how long you need to feel comfortable. I would say not less than 6 months, but really giving myself.
Oh, yeah, I agree. It's gonna take a while, guys.
And it's frustrating, but it's okay. I mean, we are used to being comfortable, and we don't like frustrating things. Like, I'm adult, I shouldn't be frustrated right now. I left school. Well, you should be frustrated, because that leads you to growth. We shouldn't be afraid of being frustrated by something that we don't know and we are just learning.
Exactly. Yeah, so guys, if you decide to go the development route, just now you're going to be pulling your hair out. But it's something everyone goes through, and as Milana said, it makes you grow at the end of the day. So now maybe you can tell us, Milana, what are some interesting or rather the most interesting projects that you've worked on, or that you really like, that made you maybe pull out your hair, or how do I fix this?
Well, I have a lot of those, mostly for my latest clients in TopTal, like in past 5 years. I was doing a lot of terminal integrations, REST APIs, and integrations going from WordPress to WordPress, through WordPress, all those things. And I love those things, and all of those things are frustrating, because when you work with a third party API, you have no control, and there are good ones and there are bad ones, and there are really, like, there is a special place in hell for people who build those. And all of them were very, very interesting. I was lucky enough to be able to choose projects, and I choosing all of those, that nobody wanted. But I would, here as the most interesting project, I would actually choose another one. We had a project for, I was organizing WordCamp Europe in Berlin 2019, leading the team for organizing Contributor Day. And I was trying to solve the problem of people not coming to Contributor Day, thinking it's not for them, they're not advanced enough or something like that. And that's really a problem with how we communicate. What is Contributor Day and what you can do there and what teams are doing. So when you are in community for a long time, you don't really think about it, how strange it is to people. When you say design team, they're not designing teams for WordPress. But that's what people think, right away.
For sure.
They're doing something completely different. And, we take those things for granted, and we want to have new contributors, but we don't give enough effort to explain to them what we are doing here.
What's
and
involved,
and why it is very valuable. If they have no experience, they're very valuable to us, to contribute, to come there and and read all about it and say, this makes no sense. That is so valuable information, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So there, I was trying to really make this process of onboarding new people to make it easier. And I think we had idea, I had idea the year earlier when I was organizing WordCamp Europe in Belgrade. I got that idea that we are asking people the wrong questions. So when you come to register for Contributor Day, we give you the list of 27 teams and say, here are their handbooks, go read and decide where you want to go. That's insane. Nobody's going to read.
Crazy amount of reading.
Yeah. And you know, it's just so scary. I mean, WordPress.org is huge. Nobody knows what's there. So I figured we are asking them to decide and they have no idea. So they cannot ever have answer to that question. So we have to ask them things that only they know answer to. And that is what they are good with, what they want to develop, and what they do with WordPress. And then when they tell us that, we can tell them, oh, well, you can go to this, and this theme, and you will find something interesting there. So we created a form, which is really simple form. The first question is, what do you do with WordPress? So you select answer like, I write content, I build themes, I do this and that. You select that, and based on that, you will get a list of another questions. So what do you want to work with, and or what you are good with? So you are good with writing code, but you also like teaching people, but you also like, you know, writing about what you learn. And then we give you, based on that, we give you another question. And after these 3 questions, we tell you, well, you know, you could go to training team and documentation team and also core team. So take a look there. And, you know, there were teams that you would never consider, like, what is Tide team? Does anybody knows what they are doing? No. Yeah. But, you know, if you tell us what you like to do, where you like to grow, you don't have to do in WordPress community what you usually do with WordPress. You can explore new things and just tell us what you do with WordPress, what are you good at and what you want to do. And we will give you a list of themes that will be a good fit for you. And that project we used, so this form we used for WordCamp Europe in Berlin. Unfortunately, the development stopped. The plan was to have another version with all the themes for WordPress.org. So when you don't know where to go, you just want to join, you would go through that form and just select the theme. And the teams would have, you know, team representatives would have control over what content is there, which questions lead to their team, because we had problems like WP-CLI didn't really end up in a lot of options. So, you know, the tool had a lot of holes and missing things. Yeah. But the development stopped, and I'm very sorry about it, but it is still out there. The idea is there, and I really hope that it will, you know, someone will take over. I think it is very helpful.
Extremely.
And we were, you know, testing it on a few smaller WordCamps, and people were, you know, the demo of it was on Google Forms. After that, we made it a WordPress plugin. But the first thing we tried was Google Form, which didn't even work well, but people loved the idea. Like, I don't care about blog, but I love that I can, you know, think about it that way.
Wow. No, like that is because it just simplifies things so much. As opposed to just like,
and it's not frustrating.
Just go to the link and read everything. Okay. And I guess that answers somehow the next question, which is, what interesting feature in WordPress do you think is missing that you'd like to see?
Well, be controversial here and say PHP.
Say what?
PHP, yeah, I would love to see more development on modern PHP. We are far behind, and we have this policy of backward compatibility, but we are not really consistent with that because Gutenberg was breaking that.
Yeah.
So we could, just say, okay, this another release will break backward compatibility for PHP, because PHP is becoming so awesome and a real joy to work with, but we are not experiencing that because we are
with
stuck.
WordPress. Yeah.
So I would love to see that feature.
Yeah.
Just having modern and more secure. I mean, it's not just being cool and writing cool PHP. It's there is a reason why it's going there.
Yeah, more efficient, more secure, but we have to keep up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and out of the current plugins and themes, which one do you like the most? One theme, one plugin.
I don't really use themes that are finished. I was always building custom themes, so I don't really know. I know that I look up at default themes because that's where you can find what's the best thing to do right now, and that's how I was learning. But I never really used a theme, for.
Wow, so you've been building your themes from the beginning.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And for the plugins, well, there are plugins I think are mandatory for developers for development process. So there is PHP compatibility checker, and then there's the Kint PHP debugger by Tonya. Then there is a Theme Check plugin by Team Review Team, and I would really like to recommend to everyone. I realize this is new plugin and people are not aware of it. Performance Lab plugin.
First I'm hearing of it.
Yeah, so this plugin is made by Performance Group, WordPress Performance Group, which is actually Performance Team, and it will help you a lot with finding problems on your website, but also doing some things for you. And it's a feature plugin, so what is good and what shows to be very good, it will go to core, just like Gutenberg, and and sitemaps and site health. So it will end up in core, and you have the opportunity to affect what will go to core, just by using this plugin, testing it, and it's really good and needs all support.
Oh, so, no, this is, I have to check this out.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you love what you currently do in WordPress?
Oh yeah. I do a lot of things in WordPress, and I love all of those. Being a loud extrovert, I like going to events and communicating and just doing networking. I'm also organizing meetups, WordPress meetups in my city, and visiting other cities in Serbia. We are all very good friends. If you haven't heard about our community, then I don't know what you've been hearing of. But Serbian WordPress community is very alive and very vibrant, and we are all good friends. But also I like my focus time on development, so I'm doing that, and learning time, because I always wanted to learn everything that can be learned. So I'm learning by doing coding and writing documentation and reading and testing and failing and then trying to succeed, and all of that is together, and I think all of that fits my personality very
Yeah.
well.
Wow. Yeah, no, like I think we can take some inspiration from that, because I think here in Zambia, we don't really have a community going, so I think we can take some inspiration from that. Then I also have a controversial question for you. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh, I can't answer to that question.
Yeah,
So I don't plan that far. I stopped planning a long time ago. What I plan is right now, I just plan conferences. Like, you know, when you know there's conference in 10 months, 1 year, I plan just plane tickets and hotels.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the life and everything, I know how my next 1 month will look like, and that's it. I don't really plan. I think it's very risky. From my life experience, it was like you plan and things go wrong, and yeah, and not by anyone's mistake or anything, you know, just things happen, and everything you planned was just a waste of your time and energy to plan that. So I kind of, now I'm scared of planning, so I don't do that. I just go wherever. I have goals that, I mean, I'm not like going without anything in my head, you know. I have direction, I have goal, but I don't have any timelines on that, and I really have no problem to change that. Like, I don't really like that anymore, and I'm not going to be doing that anymore. So there is no plan like I have to go there. I go to that direction, but you know, if that changes, it's fine.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very balanced take. Okay. Maybe you can also tell us who do you give credit for your success? You know, you've been able to work on so many cool projects and still working on many other cool projects.
Well, I would say, you know, all the people who I met and who I worked with, but from the beginning, you know, people who interested me in PHP and in WordPress were Jeffrey Way. Like, he was a very big name for PHP and other languages and other, you know, topics. He really explored a lot of things, and I loved reading everything he wrote. Then Tonya Mork, you know, the way she explains things, not just how to do, but why to do it that way, it's amazing. And she explained it so that everyone can understand, and that's amazing. That's a gift. Also, Justin Tadlock, you know, I was following his blog for a long time, and so these are the people like Jeffrey and Justin from like 2009, and Tonya came a bit later. But I would say the way they think, the way they explain, and the way they feel about programming and, you know, everything about WordPress and PHP, that's what really kept me there. You know, they found that channel to communicate with me as a musician who didn't know anything, you know. So that was like, they really knew how to make me understand and to love that perspective.
Wow. No, I think I need to look up some of those names up, because you said Tanya who?
Tonya Mork.
Okay.
She's in very active in WordPress community. Justin Tadlock as well. Jeffrey Way, not that much. I think he never was really. He did wrote some things about WordPress, but he's more like Zen and, you know, other like real PHP frameworks.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love the idea of not just explaining, or do things like this, do, but why not this other way?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so can you give us some references for whom we should conduct an interview with next?
Yes, I don't know if she will accept, but
yeah, you never know.
yeah. You can find her in WordPress documentation team. Her
Mhm.
name is Femi. I don't know if I can pronounce her last name correctly, so I will not try. Her username at WordPress.org is Femi Creations.
Okay.
And Fem Creations, sorry, yeah. And she's been very, very quiet and kind of lost when she started in the documentation team. And now she's a representative for block editor and user documentation. She came a long way, and
Wow.
she's hardworking. Yeah, so I think she would be great for next time.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. We're going to reach out to her. Hopefully she says yes. And I can tell from some of the answers you've given that you spend a lot of time in front of the screen working on different projects. How do you reward yourself? Like, today has been a long day. I've done all this stuff. What do you like to do?
Well, I actually like to start my day with just, doing things for myself. So I get up at 6:30 a.m., but I start working at noon. So everything, those 6 hours are just
very
for
late.
me. Yeah. And so I think it's very important to have relaxed beginning of the day, not to rush, not to, have frustration from the beginning. So I have like breakfast. Breakfast is my favorite meal. I have a breakfast and coffee, and then I go out. So I either run or just walk. After that, I come home and have my training and take a shower, and then I start working at noon. And then I have 2 hours break for lunch. And I work 4 hours a day, and plus 2 hours a day for documentation, so it's 6 hours per day top. I do mix it a little bit, sometimes I do work more or less. I like to leave Friday with less hours, and it depends on the project that I'm currently working on, if I will spend more time on documentation or on client's project. But by 8 p.m. I'm finished, and then I have dinner and just relaxed evening, sometimes with friends, sometimes alone, just reading before bed. And I like everything, relax.
Okay. No, I love that you're a runner. I've also been running for something like 6 years, but very inconsistent.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. Any suggestion for WordPress beginners?
Well, with current situation where you can find all sorts of information about WordPress everywhere, and if you're a beginner, even if you're not beginner, sometimes it's very difficult to know if information is valid or not. I would suggest, just come to WordPress.org and click that in the menu, click that button, get involved, and whichever team you choose, you don't have to read all handbooks. Just start with one team, and along the way you will get to know what other teams are doing and if you want to switch or not. But that is the place where you can find the most relevant information about WordPress. So don't waste your energy, your time on or money, on some. I'm not saying that paid courses are not good. They're good. There are some good, but there are some really
Horrible.
Horrible. And until you know people who are doing those things and who are educators, don't waste money, don't waste time on things that you don't know if are relevant or not. Go to WordPress.org. There you will find all the relevant information, and then you will be able to make decisions where to go further.
Exactly. No, I couldn't put it better myself. And lastly, is there any interesting project that you might want to share with us where we can see some of the nice things you're working on, or one will come in the future?
Well, again, I will be controversial, and I will say WordPress documentation. Because I cannot show you any project of my clients. That's what I signed. I have my website where I write about things very inconsistently. I have a lot of drafts, but I don't have enough time. But I'm trying to write more. Hopefully, publish something soon. So, the thing that is very important to me is WordPress documentation, and WordPress documentation can offer a lot of interesting stuff for everyone, for developers and for non-developers, for beginners, for advanced users, everybody, literally. If you know what WordPress is and that's all you know, or you don't know what WordPress is, come to documentation. We have jobs for you. Yeah, and it is interesting. We can make it interesting because there is this huge spectrum of things that you can do.
Yeah, no, I have to say it's been a very wonderful thing speaking with you. One of the things which I've really loved is your journey, because a lot of people sometimes they think that I can't do this because I play football or I do accounting. But as in your case, you are into music, you are able to transition and enjoy doing both things. So I've really appreciated hearing your journey, and also about the things that anyone can do with WordPress, anyone can get involved. Yeah. So thanks very much, and I hope you're gonna come on another time in the future, and we'll also see if we can talk to the name is gone. We'll look her up.
Femi, yeah.
Femi, yes. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So until next time, guys, focus on your craft.